Hi everyone, welcome to Ooh Ah Crochet. This is take 2 of episode 2. My first taping didn't work out, and apparently my phone only takes 30 minutes and then cuts off, and I don't know how to edit it together. So, take 2. Alright, so thanks to everybody that's returning, and thanks to all my new subscribers. Thanks to Kim from Blue Cherub 82 on YouTube for the referral again. I love you. Love you, love you, love you. Okay, let's get started so I don't run over. I have been working on a whole bunch of different things. It's been about 10 days since I recorded last. I've got my list here, and we'll just get into it. Okay, so first of all, plarning is one of the things I do, and that's crocheting with plastic bags. Here is a project that I have made in the past. Darn Good Yarn had a like their bowls, their yarn bowls on sale for a while. It was a big thing and everybody was getting them, and I thought to myself, I can make my own, and so I did. And this is just got a flat bottom, and I did some decreases, and then added a little hole so you could put the yarn through it if you wanted to. And it fits my sweet roll cake. That is a Premier Sweet Roll. And it's pretty sturdy because I crocheted this one, I guess, kind of tight, but it's single crochet, so that makes it tighter anyway. So, good. It's going to last a real long time. There's no reason for it not to. So, that is a finished project that I had done before. There's a project that I'm working on that I haven't gotten to because of Christmas, and that is a dog bed. I'm making it from my black lab chow mix. Her name is Sheba, and as you can see, it's pretty big, but it's going to be super fluffy. I'm going to make it big enough as a standard large dog bed, and then I'm going to sew it all together, and then I will take the leftovers of all my plarning and throw all like the bottoms and the handles, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to throw them inside that once I sew it all together, and that should be pretty squishy. It's going to last longer than the regular dog beds. It only lasts us maybe 6 months if we're lucky, but with South Dakota being so wet and snowy and cold, they just get so dirty and they don't last very long. So hopefully that'll help, and I'm recycling. So my next recycled adventure is these little guys. This is, that one doesn't have that yarn, the end sewn in. These I crocheted out of Pop Tops. There is a website that I followed the tutorial on, and that is Retro Fairy Crafts. She took 2 of these and added a zipper and made it a little purse. So she just added a zipper. She sewed in a zipper along here, and then put some felt, or you could even put fabric, sew it on, or hot glue it in here with the zipper, and then made it into a little purse. My intention for these is maybe to add a magnet, and maybe put a picture behind it so I can give it to the teachers or give it to grandparents or family with the kids, or even some artwork maybe that they've done, or they could even be ornaments too. If I had more time, I was just practicing to see what I could do with it. I might try to make the interlocking hearts like that blanket, and then you could even make a wreath if you wanted to. You know, there's all kinds of different ideas that you can do with recycling. So that's one of my passions. I really think it's something that we should all do, just to use what you have, and don't throw it away unless you have to. You can also send your Pop Tops to a Ronald McDonald in your area if you have those. They greatly appreciate them. The next thing I wanted to talk about as far as recycling is I would like you guys to go visit a YouTuber. It's One Brown Planet. There is a lady on there that did a 2-year adventure that she made a giant plastic or plarn turtle, like giant. It was a turtle that was big enough to fit a whole room, and it took her 2 years to make it. The whole video itself shows the journey and how she did it, and she used old bottles and different things to stuff it. So again, recycling, adding. This is something I would like to do in the future. It would be something that would be just a great thing to give back to the community. We have a place here called the Pavilion, the Washington Pavilion, that does the Kirby Science Center. They do a lot of things for kids as far as science-wise and educational things. It would be a great place to maybe donate something like that there, or even our zoo here. Just showing kids, the dangers of the plastic bags or plastic bottles, plastic rings in our oceans, and then what could be done with it if you were to recycle it or to use it in a different way. Alright, and I apologize if I'm speaking really fast. I don't want to have to record it again, which I'm sure you can all understand. I am wearing my button from Crochet Luna. I won in a giveaway from no catchy name from Ella. So there's that. Claudia makes really awesome buttons for all of us crocheters out there. And this is one of the other things I got in my little gift bag from Ella. So my stitch marker, which I'm not really sure I can use because chances are the kids will steal it or it'll come off and Connor will eat it, or so. It's in my craft room on my shelf. But it's so cute. Alright. Okay. Next thing on the list is blankets. Plural. I have blankets everywhere. So, my friend of mine commissioned me to do 2 blankets for her kids. I had originally made a blanket for her son. She just had a son a couple months ago, I guess. He might be 6 months by now. Anyway, I made him a blanket and sent it to her and had his name crocheted on it and everything. And she said, well, now I need 2 blankets from the other 2 kids. So, anyway, she commissioned me to make 2 blankets. So the first one is a big, excuse my getting up here. The first one is a great big granny square. It's a huge granny square. And then on the top, I added this part here where I am going to crochet his name onto that part. So it'll just be surface crochet right on the top there. I always do those pieces in single crochet just so you have a better canvas to do the surface crochet on. The next one was for her daughter, and her daughter drew a picture. I was trying to get an idea of what she'd like, what color she wanted, just an idea. When kids are kids, you never know what they're going to like. So she drew me a picture. And then I took the picture and I'm like, I can make that, As we all do. I can make that. And then you're like, oh, shit. Oops, sorry. Okay. So the picture had 2 diamonds, some flowers, and her name on it. And my friend sent me the yarn. So part of the problem I had was I had a limited amount of yarn, and I don't have this kind of yarn, so I had to use it, and use what I had. So I went to make the diamonds, and I did make a diamond. I used the granny square, a solid granny square, and then at the tips, on the top and the bottom, I did a treble crochet instead of the other stitch I was doing, so it elongated that part, and then the other side is just a normal granny square in the corners. I intentionally wanted to join the blanket from each of the diamonds. However, I couldn't figure it out. So it's an applique, or it turned into an applique. It's on top of the blankets that I did in stripes. The blanket is longer than it should be because I misjudged it. You always think, okay, it's going to be too short, and then it ends up being way too long. And it's not as wide as it's supposed to be, I suppose, but it's definitely warm enough. It is big enough for a child. And I'm a fairly large girl, so if this covers me up, it should cover a 10-year-old. And then I added flowers, and I used every bit of the yarn I had. So just used a 5-petal flower. I even asked her, how many petals do you want? You know, do you want a yellow insert or a yellow inside or a white inside? So those turned out really cute. I did try to add her name like she requested. However, with this yarn, I just couldn't get it to match up. I couldn't get the surface crochet to work. It wasn't working for me. I tried to do a piece to add on to the blanket. I couldn't get it added. It was crooked. It wasn't matching up. But here's her name. So I took this piece that I originally made to put on the blanket, and I just made it into a pillow. So now she's got a pillow. But that's just surface crochet. I used 2 strands of baby yarn. And this is a white baby yarn with a shiny in there too, just to give it a little bit of sparkle for the girls. But her name is Cameron Opal. So, and her mom and I have been friends since we were little girls. So this is kind of dear to my heart that I'm able to share something with her, and we've been friends for so long. So that's pretty exciting for me. The one thing I will say about this yarn is I didn't like it. I didn't like working with it. Let me rephrase that. It's very soft and it's warm. The blanket is going to be warm. It's great, but to work with it, I wouldn't recommend it. This is the yarn that she bought. It's called Yarn Bead Tender Touch, and there was 3 different colors: the white, the blue, and the purple. And when I figured out that I was short on white, there was not an equal amount of balls per color, that I changed my design up for the stripes. So each stripe I had on there was going to be 5 rows each, but the white ball, supposed to be 135 yards, was always short. There was not enough to make 5 rows in white. And each ball is supposed to be 3 ounces. It's all supposed to be 135 yards. It wasn't. And my tension didn't change. I worked on this blanket straight through. And so yeah, that was a bummer too, because then I was short even more white than I originally was to begin with. But when I was designing the diamond, I was trying to design it and put it together and figure it out and do all that. This yarn was not having it. I couldn't frog it. Really, you know, Red Heart you can frog and it just comes right out. Not a problem. This yarn would catch on itself. It was so fluffy and furry, or fluffy, fibery. I had fibers going everywhere, but when I went to pull it out, it would snag, and like I had to rip it, like really pull on it to get it to come through. Which I was nervous I was going to rip the yarn, but I mean it stood up to me pulling on it. But again, not something that I would recommend crocheting with if you're trying to design something and you make a mistake. It's just not something I would work with. It is soft though, and for a child, great. Now, if you had pets or something, I wouldn't recommend it either, because their little paws would get caught in that yarn very easily. Okay, so enough about that blanket. Blanket number 3, again, is another commission. One of my girlfriends wanted a blanket to fit on the end of the bed. There's a bench on the end of her bed. And so she wanted me to make a blanket. And she didn't really care what pattern. And she loves puppies, and one of her puppies is named Daisy. Daisy looked like Toto from Wizard of Oz, but Daisy is also my daughter's name, so I was giving her grief that that's my daughter's name. She looks like Toto. You should have named her Toto. But anyway, so the pattern I picked is called the Puppy Love Pattern by Amy B. Stitches, and she made the meandering paw pattern that everybody's been using for their scarves. You can see little puppy paws. Yay! So this took two 1-pound Karen balls, just like that, and gray. This is 2 of them. So again, it's probably longer than it needs to be, but I asked her if she wanted me to make it any wider. It's pretty wide. Again, it covers me, and it covers me from my toes to the top of me when I'm sitting down in a chair. Of course, I'm only 5'4", so maybe it's not long enough. I don't know. But anyway, that was pretty easy to make. It was definitely one, excuse me, gotta pull up here. It was definitely one that you had to pay attention or keep counting. I could memorize the pattern, but I still had to keep counting. Like, you have to go 8 stitches of this and 8 stitches of that, and then 5 here and 4 there. And so basically I just kept looking at the graph. Once I got a repeat done, I kept looking at the repeat to make sure I was doing it right. And it turned out okay. There's a couple of flaws in there, but every blanket has those, and I don't think anybody's really going to notice. So my next thing on the list is Sarah Satch just came out with, Posh Pooch Designs just came out with a paw cozy made for like a mason jar. Now when I made it, I followed her design right off of YouTube. I was crocheting right along with her, and maybe my tension isn't as loose as hers, or maybe it's not intended to be as big as I thought it should be. Maybe a small pint, little jelly jar maybe is what she intended. But here's the little paw prints. It's so cute. So as we were making it, like I said, it's smaller than what I would think. It's only 24 stitches of double crochet, and it fits my bottle here. I'll show you in a second. But it wouldn't fit a mason jar. So I'm going to do it again and hopefully try to sell some of these. But I think I would go up to 36 stitches instead of 24. It would make it just a little bit wider. But what I did is, since I was making this puppy love blanket, I decided, okay, so I got my paw here. So I added a heart. And then I was like, well, I love puppies. So I did my filet crochet and added an eye. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the top, the middle, and the bottom. So filet crochet. And it's super easy. And you wouldn't have to make it as tall as this one is. It's just one of those ideas I thought, okay, well maybe I could sell these. I'm always looking for ideas to sell. Being a stay-at-home mom, it's my only income is commissions, so that's how cute. You can still see even on the pop bottle. You could use these for a water cozy, or even a decoration for, I don't know if I would go with candle because it might burn. She did use acrylic and not cotton, so that might have made the difference as far as sizing. But I did use the same hook, so you could add a handle. So as the summer progresses, I might be making more of those. But isn't it cute? Puppy paws. And her paws are different than the one that Amy B. Stitch did. And I will link her pattern down below for the Puppy Love pattern. The other 2 patterns I made for the other blankets were just made up, just straight off my head. So, and this one I'll link Sarah's video too if I can find it again, so you can see that. Super easy make. Took me like 30 minutes, not even, maybe 20. And I made mine larger than hers. So that is the other thing. Again, I'm looking at my list here, but Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet is having a Love Your Stash Cal. So I've been putting all this stuff on her site, on Ravelry, to enter this cal. So so I've got those added. Everything I have is from my stash because I don't have money to go out and buy yarn, so it's all stash. And then I'm super excited that Claudia and Holly are hosting a Supernatural cal in February. I cannot tell you how much my family loves Supernatural. We love it. Sam and Dean are like the best, and oh yeah, even Donnie loves Supernatural. And my family, my mom and dad, when they got Netflix, spent the first year just watching Supernatural because they were catching up on all the old videos. So, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think that starts February 1st, so keep an eye out on that. The next pattern I'm working on is the Heidi Bears pattern I was telling you about. And here is Fatty Lumpkin. How cute is that pony? Super cute, right? So, thanks to Kim from Blue Cherub. She has been answering my questions as I go. What type of yarn, what size hook. So here's some of the motifs. And I've gotten a good chunk of them done already. And I'm just using baby yarn. I don't do fingering weight. My hands are too much arthritis. I don't know if I have arthritis yet, but it feels like it. So the tinier hooks really kind of hurt to do. So I used fingering weight. It's still a size 3, or a sock baby yarn weight. Sorry. Okay. So that's a work in progress. I've got a pretty good start on that, so I'm excited. Let's see. The next thing I wanted to say is thanks again, Kim, for the shout out, because as of this video, I have 68 subscribers already. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I am goofy. I have a off kind of personality, so I hope you like it. The next thing I want to tell you about is a gift I'm making. It may or may not be a practical joke gift, but Randy and I have been talking back and forth some late nights, and I'm going to try to do this really quick so my phone doesn't shut off. I was laying in bed one night and thinking of just, my craft brain just kept going and going and going, and then I decided granny squares. Granny squares. Everybody was doing granny stitches and different things, and I was like, what hasn't been done with a granny square? Okay, so somebody in my life is having a birthday, a big birthday. I was thinking, granny panties. Okay. Ta-da! Granny square panties. I looked on Ravelry. I haven't been able to find a granny square panty. So as I'm making this and talking to Randy and talking to Kim, I am laughing my ass off. Like just giggling, like trying to design this. There are 8 squares on top. I did a couple rows to try it out of the regular granny. And then this is a triangle on the bottom for a little kind of a curvish thing. I didn't like how the triangles joined. Makes it look a little naughty. But anyway, here's one granny panty. S1. There's more. But this is in pink, and I don't do pink, so this is definitely not mine. The next one I decided I was going to go all squares and no triangles. So here is one. Now this one actually fits me. I will spare your eyes and not try it on for you, but it does fit. I did try it on. It would fit like a lingerie underwear, I guess. It did go up my back end just fine, so it is something that you could really make into something wearable if you wanted to. If you guys are interested in a pattern, let me know. It could be a good practical joke item. It could be a real item. You could crochet different things around it, even add a little skirt. You could do it in cotton and make it into a swimsuit cover, like when you're out on the beach or something. It's just different, you know, granny squares, and then I did a single crochet on the inside. I apologize for the ends, but this may or may not stay the way it is. So this is made out of a Premier Sweet roll. I think it's just gray. It might be called pepper something. And then this is the Sweet Roll Raspberry. This is really soft, so somebody really could wear this if they wanted to. But again, along the lines of a granny panty, right? Granny panty. I love that word. Randy suggested, well, why not a triangle one? Well, why not? Okay, so here's the start of my granny triangle. And Jaded and Stitches had just came out with a granny square corner to corner. So I used that idea. However, I did change it, because if you would use the corner to corner, it would go straight. I mean, it would just triangle out like dramatically. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted it more of like a V shape, I guess. And so I changed it. So instead of increasing, I would do an increase, and then I wouldn't do an increase, and I would use that as a post. And so the next row, I do the crocheting inside the actual posts and then increase. But what you could do is you could totally take these up against your own underwear swimsuit and decide where your increases should be, how high you want your leg to go, how thick you want it to be on the back end. You can make them super bubbly in the back and have more coverage on the back and less on the front. You could do this in a cotton, like a lace cotton. It would be super pretty. But that's one of my ideas. If you were interested in a pattern, let me know. I'm debating if I should write it up or not. It's just kind of, I'm debating. But if there's no interest, then So, I also wanted to mention that I do, on trying to earn some extra money or doing things to save our family money, I did sign up for Ibotta a couple months ago. And since then, I have earned over $60 just using Ibotta, and I don't have money to shop. So basically, the money I've spent has been at the grocery store and at Joann's. Now, Joann's on Ibotta offers a 10% back, which is crazy. 10% back. So even the gift cards I had for Joann's, I got money back on. And if you use their big twist yarn, there's $1 back per ball. So why not? And they also have like money back on fabric and different things. So you get your 10% back, but you also get that those coupon. I mean, it's not coupons, but it's money back. So that, and then every time you go to the grocery store, there's different things that you can get money back on. That's how I got my mom and dad their Christmas presents, because my dad's not a yarny person. So I used that to get them gift cards so they could have a Christmas present without it being handmade. If they don't want handmade, that's okay with me. So I did what I could, and they got gift cards. But anyway, if you are interested in doing Ibotta, they have money back on Etsy and Walmart and Joann's and eBay, Amazon. So I will put my link in below if you're interested. It's just a referral code. And then anybody you refer gets money too. So I think that's all I have for the day. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Thanks again, guys, for all your help, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. This, like I said before, this is something I've really wanted to do for a long time. I just didn't have the courage to do it. So, Randy, thanks for all your support and all of the late night chats. And I am giving you a great big ooh-ah hug all the way from South Dakota. And if I could hug you in person, I certainly would. So, to all those moms out there who have had children that are just driving them crazy, I totally understand. And if you ever need to vent, you can always look me up on Facebook. Again, my name is Amber, and this is Crochet. Hugs from South Dakota. Much love. Be kind to one another. Thanks.